What's going on, everyone? Welcome to The Drop. This is the official podcast of ComicDrops.com. This is the show where we basically talk about all the super fun news and superhero stuff and things. I am your host, Josh Sharp, and joining me today are three other super radical dudes. First up, we have our guest, Casey Crow. Casey, I'm happy to get you back on, man. How's it going?
It's going good. I saw a movie last night. I went to the movies and I saw a movie, and might talk about that movie.
Ooh, spoiler. I'm excited. And also we have Andrew Lilly joining us. Andrew, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Glad to be back.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know why
Bet you missed that.
Yeah, always glad to be back. And last but not least, we have Alex Batts. Alex, what it do, man?
Nothing much. I think I might know. I think I've heard of that movie that Casey's talking about.
Maybe, you never know.
Oh, yeah?
You never know.
Bad Moms? Oh, no.
Alice in Wonderland 2? Oh, joy. No, not really. But yes, we are, if you couldn't tell by what they just said, we will be reviewing X-Men Apocalypse today. But before we do that, there are a couple of things we want to, touch on that we missed last week because we didn't have an episode. And there are two very important things when it comes to DC films and the current layout and things that are happening, people involved. And I guess we'll start with probably the most recent bit of news is that Geoff Johns will be co-running DC films with Warner Brothers, and apparently the people are saying this is because of the Batman v Superman backlash. I'm using air quotes because I guess it's a backlash, but then again, when I hear the word backlash, people just just because this movie sucked and now things are happening. But in my opinion, the movie didn't suck. But anyway, yeah, these details come from the Hollywood Reporter that states the Burbank-based studio is making changes to the way it handles its DC entertainment-centered films, giving the oversight of the future projects to a pair of executives and creating a dedicated division for the films. And it says current executive vice president John Berg and Geoff Johns, and Geoff Johns is DC's chief creative officer. He handles all the comics and stuff like that. They will both be co-running DC films, and then they reached out to Warner Brothers, and of course Warner Brothers didn't comment. But later on, Geoff Johns confirmed that he is indeed with them in developing the DC films, but he hasn't, I guess, solidified or confirmed his role. But he said connect the dots. So I guess that pretty much just tells us. So Casey, since you are our guest, why don't you start off and why don't you give us your thoughts on Geoff Johns co-running DC films?
Well, we know that he is writing the Batman solo flick with Affleck at the moment. I think the thing with Batman v Superman is whether you liked it or not, no matter how divided it was, which I think took a lot of people by surprise because I loved Man of Steel and I liked Batman v Superman. A movie with two of the most iconic superheroes known all across the world should easily make $1 billion. Could you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a flop. It made a lot of money. It made its money back and some. So when people are saying they're disappointed or maybe the studio's disappointed, it's just because you make a movie to make money and it didn't make as much money as maybe it should have, because maybe it was really divided. But the movie did a lot of world building, and I think with someone like Geoff Johns, I guess really because Batman v Superman did a whole lot of world building in just one movie. Hopefully they can scale that back and work more on the story and I guess focus on the movie at hand. Having him in place, I think, could make things a little easier as far as which characters you want to use, where to use them, which movies to use them in, which characters we want to, save for later, or say with, with Suicide Squad coming up, we have all these characters that are going to be established as, being locked up. Batman has maybe, put them away. How are they going to be used in the Batman solo films? Are they going to show up in a Superman film? Are they going to show up in a Aquaman film, Killer Croc or something like that? So I think with Geoff Johns in place, they really want to just make sure they have a good cap on everything and they're pacing everything well and are not underusing or overusing or misplacing characters that are really important.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I'm still kind of scaled back just because of the reception to Batman v Superman. Like Casey just said, I mean, like they crammed a lot in Batman v Superman, and maybe not character wise, but just like a lot of nods and a lot of hints and a lot of like he said, world building in the movie, to where like it wasn't crammed, but there was just a lot of content in it, and I'm interested to see how they're gonna keep going forward with that. And I think bringing on Geoff Johns is a smart idea. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about DC Comics. I'm interested to see him working with Ben Affleck on the next Batman film. I'm super excited about that, because those two together is just like, it's like a geek's dream, a DC geek's dream, especially with Ben Affleck and his track record on Argo and The Town, and and like other things he's worked on, like director wise and writing. So I think it's gonna be pretty super awesome. Alex, what do you think?
I wasn't really worried about the DC films going forward after Batman v Superman. I know like a lot of people were. I hate that like Batman v Superman will always be considered a disappointment to so many people, because I loved it. But like I understand the backlash that it got and why it was so divisive and everything. But I think that Geoff Johns coming on is nothing. It'll bring nothing but good things to DC films. Like Geoff Johns knows DC like no one else, and we've seen that recently, especially with Rebirth, which has gotten an amazing reception. And we've seen him time and time again just write and orchestrate phenomenal stories for characters in the DC universe and just the universe as a whole. And so him like being the overseer of all the films, he'll be able to do that in the film world too, and that's really awesome. And it's really cool that we have that potential there, and that he's like kind of in charge of that. So I think that'll be great.
Yeah. Andrew?
Yeah, basically what all you guys have said. Geoff Johns, he just knows DC characters so well. And especially what Casey was saying, whether you loved it or hated it, Batman vs Superman didn't do as well as they were hoping. So obviously they need to make a few changes. We even saw earlier this week that Charles Roven had been removed as executive producer, I think.
Yeah, well, I think what they said is he's working on less films than.
No, they said that he's gonna, his like day-to-day operations are slowing down, and he's gonna be in like an executive producer role, but not as like hands-on.
Exactly. So they're just obviously there's just gonna be a little restructuring, shuffling around with. I wouldn't call it fallout, because that kind of makes it sound like Batman vs Superman was a flop, and it wasn't. But yeah, like you guys said, bringing Geoff Johns on board, I'm not saying that that's going to automatically mean that the movies are going to be amazing, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we can all say that we're excited about it. Definitely looking forward to see what he's going to be bringing to the table when it comes to Justice League. Because has Justice League started filming, or have they started production?
Oh yeah.
It started filming April 11th, I think, 10th or 11th.
Okay, because I think I saw on BatmanNews.com they said, oh, they're in production right now, but they haven't started filming scenes. But I mean, I
no, because Momoa posted that picture where he had like worked with his stunt people. So
I must have missed that one. But yeah, Geoff Johns, DC Films, it's gonna be dope. I'm super excited. Moving on to the next DC-related topic, there is a Harley Quinn? Wow, okay. Harley Quinn-centric DC film currently in the works. I'm assuming it's going to take place in the DCEU, which is it's kind of interesting to me that Harley Quinn. The thing is, it's not a solo film per se, but it is a film where she, I guess, would be the main quote-unquote protagonist, even though we know she's the Batman villain. And yeah, this also came from the Hollywood Reporter that said that Margot Robbie herself actually went to Warner Brothers and kind of pitched this movie to the studio, and she even brought along a writer to, I guess, kind of give them a better idea of how they're gonna do the film and stuff like that. And they said they mentioned names like Batgirl and the Birds of Prey along with the Harley Quinn movie. So it's possible that they could end up being a Birds of Prey film, or it could end up being like a Gotham City Sirens type deal. So I mean, I think it's a good choice. People have really been receptive of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, especially in the trailers and promo art and images and stuff like that. So, and people think that she's gonna do a great job. I think she's gonna do a great job. So I'm interested to see where this is gonna fit in the DC lineup, because they already have this super large slate up to I think 2020, and ending with Cyborg. But then I guess they're gonna start shuffling some things around just to fit that in there. So Andrew, what do you think of the Harley Quinn film?
You know, I first heard that it was going to be a Harley Quinn solo movie, and I was sort of just like okay with it. But then they started saying it was going to be an ensemble film where we'd see a lot of like DC female heroes and villains, and that got me really excited. So, because DC has some of the best female characters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got, we'll probably see Black Canary, Batgirl, maybe Catwoman, maybe Poison Ivy. Who knows? They have so many they can choose from. That, I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Casey?
As far as, I guess putting another movie on the slate or on the table of amongst the movies that are already announced by DC, sure, whatever. I think it'll be cool. I think it'd be cool to see like a Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy team up or something. But I know it wasn't like, I know Warner Bros. Didn't have like a press release or anything. It was like broken by a Hollywood reporter. But I'm just like, okay, can we just slow down, because I guess if you want to, as far as like the Justice League and the expansion of the world, we're one movie in with Batman v Superman. Can we just like slow down a little bit and work on just maybe, I guess, what's why Geoff Johns is there, but just, it gets a little eerie just because it's another one on the table, and I don't like the whole thing of announcing a whole lot of movies and then, because things change, and like, I don't know if you saw a story about, there's a rumor, granted it's a rumor, but Lionsgate, interested in like 5-6 more Power Ranger movies. Is like, where do you go? How about we just get the one done? Let's just do one first and see how it does. So I think it'll really depend on how Suicide Squad is and how she is, how people feel about her and what they think about her in the movie. But I guess I'm semi on board for now. I just want to see how Suicide Squad does first.
Yeah, Casey, I can see what you're saying, especially about Suicide Squad, because if Suicide Squad like ends up like flopping or not doing as well as everyone hopes it does, I could see this movie like not happening, or at least pushed like way back. I'm talking like 2020, 2019. And I definitely see what you're saying with them announcing like all these movies, and it's just like, you're just getting off your feet with Batman v Superman, and you're barely getting off of your feet just due to the critical reception and the fan reception. So
I mean, it'll be cool. It's cool if they have a great idea and they want to play with it or move it around and whatnot. But unlike where we still don't have a Black Widow movie, it's cool to see that they're at least considering and developing a Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah. So Alex, what do you think, man?
I'm basically gonna mirror what Andrew said. I'm really excited for this. Seeing an all like female-led DC movie would be really cool, because like he said, they have some of the best female characters, and so I mean, and I'm all for more DC films, honestly. Like, I don't know, I'm really confident in where they're going with these movies, and I've loved everything that I've seen so far, and so just having more of it to me is awesome. And so I'm not too worried. Like, I think if Suicide Squad isn't received as well and stuff, then I'll start getting worried, but as of right now, I'll just take more and more if they're willing to throw it at us.
I'm like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential here for a really, really cool movie, like an all-female ensemble film, which is something that we haven't gotten since, like Charlie's Angels back in like 2003 or something like that. So yes, it should be some fun stuff. All right, moving on to the main course of the podcast. The reason why we're all here, X-Men Apocalypse. So let's, the way we're going to do this is we're going to do spoiler-free thoughts. That way people who haven't seen the movie yet can kind of hear what we think. And then I guess for those who have seen the movie already, you can stay towards the latter half. We'll start talking about spoilers and, little things that we kind of thought were like cool. Post-credit scene, stuff like that. I really want to talk about the post-credit scene because it's really fun. So yeah, why don't we just go ahead and dive on in. X-Men Apocalypse is the fourth X-Men movie directed by Bryan Singer, and basically it features Apocalypse as like he's like the first mutant ever, and he's like coming back from some stuff. I don't want to spoil that part because obviously it's spoiler free. He comes back and he wants to like cleanse the world and stuff like that.
He wants to reproduce and make babies.
Make the mutant babies, yeah. So yeah, he comes back and he wants to like cleanse the world. This movie also introduces the Young Mutants, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Nightcrawler. Am I missing anything? Storm. Yeah, Storm. See, I forgot about Storm because she didn't. Okay. So yeah, it's Casey. Actually, no, not Casey. Anders, since you've seen it like most recently, why don't you give us your spoiler-free thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse?
Yeah, I liked it, but I don't think I'd say it's my favorite X-Men movie. It definitely felt like the most X-Men-y X-Men movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I liked some of the new characters, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler specifically. Yeah, I guess I can go into more with the spoiler, but I thought it was a good movie, but I guess I was expecting a little more from it.
Yeah, I definitely feel on that one. Alex, I'm interested to see what you have to say because I haven't heard a single word from you when it comes to this movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really liked it. I've been thinking about it a lot today, trying to figure out like how I feel about it. And it definitely has some flaws. They're definitely there and they're noticeable, but like to me, they're not too detrimental to the film for me. I still really enjoyed it, and I definitely agree with what Anders said. It's the most X-Men film that we've gotten. I think there's a lot of fan service in this movie and a lot of cool nods. If you know what you're looking for, it's definitely there, and so that's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not. I don't think it's my favorite. It's up there for sure. It's in my top 3 or 4 X-Men films, but I really enjoyed it. I need to go see it again and then figure out more how I feel about it. But yeah.
Casey, what do you think, man?
Well, for one, I'm not a huge X-Men fan to begin with. I never was. Gasp.
Shut up.
But what really got me going with the X-Men, it kind of made me go back and rewatch the old ones, was Days of Future Past. I think that for a lot of people was something that just put X-Men back on the map for them, or
it's a great movie.
Got them. Yeah, maybe they fell in love again with it, but so Days of Future Past, I think, is the biggest obstacle going for this movie right now, because it was such a good movie. Fans and critics both just really enjoyed it. It's just a really fun superhero movie and blockbuster. And who doesn't love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? The guy is 40, 50, and he's just in the best shape of his life.
Shredded, yeah.
So I also did not. I don't think this is my favorite X-Men movie. Just walking out, I was kind of feeling just a little weird because I didn't have like a huge reaction like I loved it or I hated it. It was just like
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't think it does a whole lot of damage or anything. I don't think it. I definitely think there's definitely flaws with the movie. I know people say that no movie's perfect, but I mean sometimes there are just flaws that just stand out, and there are flaws to me that stand out in this movie that doesn't really damage maybe the franchise or the characters, maybe like X-Men 3 or X-Men Last Stand did, but it definitely doesn't add a whole lot, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of neutral. It's an okay movie. I think a lot of people might like it if you're a big fan of the franchise. If you're a big fan of, say, some of the younger X-Men like Cyclops, I think you'll definitely like this movie. Oscar Isaac gives a good performance, though I'm not sure how I still feel about that villain. like I said, I just came out feeling really strange.
Yeah. I feel you.
But I really just think maybe it's time for Bryan Singer to go and try and just do something else, maybe smaller. I know he's about to do 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think that's his next movie, but maybe just, I don't know, maybe something smaller just because this is his 4th movie, and I think maybe just working on something else and then maybe coming back and have more creative juices flowing, it'd be better for him. But for the most part, I think it's an okay movie, and I think some people might enjoy it, some people might just meh, but I definitely don't think it's like god-awful or anything.
Yeah, it's definitely not the franchise killer as like I've been seeing on some of the some of the trades over here.
Right.
But yeah, for me, I kind of have to echo what Casey said. I left the movie a tad bit disappointed, and I partially blame myself, but then again I kind of don't, because I never really had any hype towards the movie. Even when the trailers came out, I wasn't really wowed by any of them. I was just like, okay, it's another X-Men movie. You know, I was like, oh, I'll see it because it's X-Men. I like the X-Men. Yeah, I would say this is probably not my least favorite X-Men movie, but I would say it's my least favorite in like this new trilogy that I think Matthew Vaughn started with First Class. I would definitely say it's definitely my least favorite in this little trilogy, if you would call it. Apocalypse was a good villain. Oscar Isaac did a good job, but some of the cues, I'm not gonna spoil what like they are, but some of the cues kind of reminded me of Ultron, and I didn't like Ultron in the second Avengers movie because the way that they did it was just kind of bleh to me. There were some pacing issues that I didn't really like. Some of the new cast, some of the new X-Men were like hilariously like underutilized to the point where like it made me kind of mad.
Yes.
Let's see what else. I mean, the action was cool. I enjoyed bits and pieces like that. Quicksilver stole the show again. And I really enjoy those sequences. But like I hope this doesn't become a thing where looks like say for example Days of Future Past. You have this super awesome Quicksilver scene. We're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Hey, no, we're doing another one of those scenes for Apocalypse. Oh yeah, awesome scene. Hey, we're gonna do another one for the next X-Men movie. Like, I don't want it to become like one of those things where it just happens every single time in every X-Men movie just because people like it. And I know the whole term like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I mean, what made those scenes great is we didn't expect them. Like, no one really expected to see some super slow-mo, awesome sequence of Quicksilver changing bullets and like punching people with pants and stuff like that in Days of Future Past. So I don't want this to become one of those things that is like a growing trend through the next X-Men films. So yeah, I guess those are my spoiler-free thoughts because I don't want to get into too much. I rated the movie a 6.5 out of 10. It's by no means a bad movie. I enjoyed portions of it, but it's one of my least favorite X-Men movies. So yeah. I guess now for those of you who want to move away now from the spoiler-free part, because we're about to jump into spoilers, guys. You guys ready?
Go away, watch the movie, then come back.
Yeah. Havoc dies. I just feel like he's yelling that out. And
Deadpool's in it. No, I'm just
Deadpool, yeah, right. The whole team dies at the end. So Casey, why don't you have any like spoiler-filled like things that you want to talk about? Anything you want to just like start discussing?
Boy. I'll just throw some of the negatives out there for me, just to get them off.
Okay.
Where should I start? Just you kind of nailed it. Just some of the pacing. I felt like some of the some of the scenes went back and forth were like super long. Like we stayed at one place too long, and then we go to another place with some other people, and we go back. Like we're still there at that spot. Like I think there was a point when we cut back to Mystique and Nightcrawler escaping that club, and we were going back and forth for that for about 15 minutes. Like you're still walking out from that club.
That's
and
exactly
10, 15,
what I thought.
10 to 15 minutes. Like walking past a car, it's just like you're still where? What have you been doing? Just zip zap go.
Yeah.
So some pacing issues. Man, you nailed it about the young cast being underused, especially Storm.
Absolutely.
There was this weird moment where Apocalypse is having that huge little stand down in the middle ground, and she's on this staircase. It's like looking through like a window empty window and looking out. She keeps leaning back and looking in, and she doesn't say anything. She's like trying to express with her face, but you just don't know what she's trying to think or say with her face. Yeah, Apocalypse was weird too. I didn't really feel like he was a threat, because it's this whole thing about the end of the world in superhero movies where it's gotten old, man.
Yes, absolutely.
It's been misused and like too many times, and it can't work anymore. It just doesn't, unless you put some of your own flavor on it. I just can't see it really being a thing anymore, because it's been so abused and dried up. But yeah, it was such a, and like, what was it, Psylocke, is that how you say it? I don't know anything about her, but she barely even said anything. I feel like the most developed storyline in this, you can either argue, is Scott or Magneto.
Yeah.
And I think I would lean towards more Scott, because I think I like his more. But man, yeah, this movie wasn't just the best, and it kind of sucks. But what I walked out, and what I was thinking about today at work, is that maybe I don't want Deadpool crossing over with X-Men. I think maybe Deadpool might be okay on its own, because I don't want it to step into something that's sticky and kind of messes itself up, because I think Deadpool has something really special going for it, especially if they pull off Deadpool 2 really well. But it just comes down to who's going to make this next X-Men film, and they probably will have Bryan Singer, depending on how this one does, I guess. But I just want someone fresh, new, to maybe take a stab at this. I guess, yeah, that's all I got for now.
I agree with literally everything you just said. My issue with Apocalypse, and like I mentioned this in the spoiler-free section when I mentioned that he kind of took cues from Ultron. You know, when he like just came back and he was like in like Storm's apartment or whatever, and he like touches the TV and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm learning." And that just reminded me of the scene in Age of Ultron where I guess it's like Jarvis and Ultron, and he's just like, "Hey, you've been asleep for this time," and he's just like, and then Ultron starts like going through like a bunch of like files and video, and he's like learning about humanity, and then back to Apocalypse, he's like, "Oh, superpowers and nuclear weapons and stuff like that. This world must be cleansed because people are stupid," and that just screamed Ultron to me. You know, he's just like, "Only the strong will survive. You know, I'm gonna wipe the earth clean, and the strong will like become like our slaves," or something like that. And then mirroring Ultron, where he's just like, "You know, I'm gonna wipe out the earth, and then I guess whoever's left is gonna, I guess, be slaves as well." So that part really annoyed me, especially since I did not like Age of Ultron. Let's see what else. Mystique. Oh my god.
Oh, you're right.
I absolutely could not stand her character at any point in this movie whatsoever. I was talking to who was I talking? I think I was talking to Ander on Twitter, and I mentioned that it just seemed like she was there just to earn a paycheck. There was no enthusiasm, no like oomph. Like when she delivered her lines, she just threw them on at the screen. It's very annoying. Let's see who else. Jubilee was just a waste. Honestly, she spoke like a total of 8 words, didn't use her powers, and then like she just went away.
Which one was that again?
The girl wearing the yellow jacket.
The Asian girl?
Yeah.
What was the point of her?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like
I remember those set photos came out of her dressed in that. I was like, "Oh my god, Jubilee, it's gonna be so great." And I watched them like, what does she even do? She just reading a book and in class, like learning. What a great student you fail at X-Men.
I mean, I don't know a lot about her character. I mean, I probably like Alex or Andrew know. Do you guys know like about her character, like about Jubilee? I know she was like, I think they tried to make her like a main protagonist in like the X-Men cartoon, but that didn't really work out, right?
I have no idea actually. Like I've heard her name and I know that she does more than what she did in Apocalypse, because she did nothing. But
absolutely nothing.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Same.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't know anything about her character either. I'm not a huge X-Men fan.
Yeah. Aside from Jennifer Lawrence's dismal performance as Mystique, I'm really tired of them trying to make her a hero, because she's not. It's like...
Agreed.
It's... Like, at the end of the movie, they have her, like, the leader of the X-Men, where she's like, "You're not students anymore, you're X-Men." Well, Trick, you're not an X-Men. Like, why are you here? Like, you don't belong here. It's so annoying, and it's like it's the same with Magneto. In this franchise, Magneto's not a villain; he's an anti-hero. Because he starts doing bad stuff, and then he'll start doing some good stuff. Like in this movie, he's one of the 4 horsemen that's like riding on with Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is like taking everybody out, and then Magneto just starts throwing metal at him. It's just like, what are you doing? And then like he goes down and like he like nods at Storm's like, what? Like, do you? Oh my god, it's just so annoying. Like, I hate that. Like, Magneto's a villain. Can like keep my villains, please? That's like having freaking Brainiac as an anti-hero helping Superman. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me or anybody else. God, man, there were just little things in the movie that just really irked me.
Angel. I'm sorry, I just want to say Angel is so lame. Sorry.
Yeah. Did he die? I don't really remember because his character was not memorable to me in any way, shape, or form. His wings were cool, but that's about it. Did anybody else like? Did he die?
I don't think he's dead. I think they'll end up bringing him back, but I'm not sure. Maybe he might be dead.
Yeah, it was just, man. I mean, I enjoyed. I know I'm just talking about the negatives, like I hated the movie or something like that. But what kind of laugh was that? Gross. I really enjoyed Ty Sheridan as Scott Summers. Cyclops is like one of my favorite X-Men, if not my favorite X-Men. I really liked the way he was portrayed. I really liked the suit that they gave him at the end of the movie, which I thought was super cool. Sophie Turner actually surprised me as Jean Grey. I was kind of on the fence about her performance. I don't really know anything about like her acting chops. I mean, I know she's in Game of Thrones, but I haven't seen a single episode of that show. And I know I'm slacking. I'm gonna watch it soon. But she actually did a really good job. She kind of portrayed that little like kind of like mysterious like girl who's got like this power that she doesn't want to like unleash it because she's afraid what's gonna happen to the people around, the people she cares about. So I enjoyed that part. Let's see. Weapon X Wolverine was pretty cool. Although it was really no purpose for it, honestly. I guess they just put him in there because he's Hugh Jackman, because it's Wolverine. They decided to shoehorn him in there. So yeah, I guess those are my like spoiler-filled like tidbits and stuff like that. Alex, do you have any?
Yeah, actually, I've got to disagree with you on the Magneto thing. First off, like I'll throw that out there, I guess. I really love Magneto in these movies. I love his character. Like, I think as a character, he's amazing. Like, what he's gone through in these movies and like his character arc and journey, I don't know. I really like it, and I think that as a villain figure, it makes him a more like his story being like, because someone can relate to some of the things that he's been through, and like it makes him a villain that you can empathize with, and so I like that. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think the way I described it was not the way I wanted to. What I meant to say, I do like his portrayal of Magneto, and I like some of the things to do with the character. It's just I'm tired of seeing him waver back and forth. It's just kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense. And then I'd agree that a lot of the characters were really underutilized, and I think the problem they have is that there's so many of them, and so they don't know what to do, and that really sucks. And then there was definitely some pacing issues. I'd agree with both of you on that one. But like, I really liked most of the scenes that were still in the movie though. But I don't know how to fix the pacing issues, but they were definitely there. Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, yeah, she was a piece of wood, basically.
She was oak wood.
Yeah, like, I work with wood all day, and like, it's no difference. It's the exact same thing.
Alex Bass, he knows wood.
Thanks. But like, it was terrible, and she's not an X-Men. Like, I was reading an X-Men comic before we started recording, and she's not the hero. And she's not the leader of the X-Men, so that's really bothersome. But I liked the Four Horsemen, actually. Like, they didn't do anything, but I think they're really cool, and like, I wish we could have seen more of them, and we got to know more about them, but they were just kind of there with Apocalypse, and so that sucked. But I think that this movie there was a lot of fan service where the actual X-Men characters were like the younger cast and like to older movies and stuff, and so that was really nice to see. And the one joke about the third movie always being the worst was great. And then I don't know. Apocalypse was. I liked Oscar Isaac's performance, and I actually liked it a lot. But hearing what you said, Josh, about the Ultron comparison, now that you kind of like shattered that glass for me, yeah, I'd have to agree. It wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, you see what I was talking about? How he was just like.
Yeah, I didn't realize that before, but like now that you've said it, like yeah, but I don't know. I definitely really enjoyed the movie, and I need to watch it again. But like the flaws are there, but for me, like while I'm watching the movie, it's not enough to like really. I don't know. I really like it. The flaws are there, but they don't make the movie awful for me.
Yeah, agreed. Ander, you got anything, man?
Yeah.
You've been super quiet, so yeah, man, go ahead and go for it.
I like hearing what you guys have to say. Yeah, I liked it. But I have to agree with a lot of what you guys said, especially about like the characters. There's just too many of them. And like you said, especially the horsemen, all they did was just stand around. That's basically all they did until the last 20 minutes. Like going into the movie, I was so excited to see like Angel and Psylocke, and they had like 10 minutes on screen.
If that, yeah.
And it was just like I loved their transformation, except their motivation was just not there at all. Same goes for Oscar Isaac. Great actor. I liked his performance, but he did the same thing. He just walked around, looked intimidating, and that's basically all he did until the last scene.
Can I add one quick thing about Apocalypse real quick?
Yeah.
Am I the only one that still does not like the design? Because there's a video of I guess the guy who designed like Batman's like costume and like Magneto's helmets and stuff, and like he created like a mock-up of
And it was a
like,
larger
Oscar
version.
Isaac's head, and it looks like the comic book Apocalypse. And I'm trying to figure out where in the world did like we not get that and then get like this weird looking like I don't know, it just looked really strange to me. Am I the only one who thought that?
No, it definitely looks strange.
I don't know. I don't hate the look, but I definitely think that if they could have done the comic book version, and I think they should have. But I still like the way he looks in the movie. It bums me out that they didn't go with the better option that they could have.
Yeah.
He could have looked more intimidating, like maybe like
Taller.
half of like what you, taller.
Oh,
half of what
absolutely.
Yeah, he should have
do
been
the make-
taller.
maybe
He
do-
was like the shortest of the horsemen.
He was,
Yeah,
and
maybe-
like and people were like, oh, just because you don't have to be tall to be intimidating, and like yeah, I mean to a certain extent that is accurate, but I mean like the dude, he looked like he was like 5'8". I don't know, like and like people around him are like 6 feet tall, 6'2", 6'3", and he just seemed like really short. Like I don't know, dude. It's just he definitely needs to be taller, at least like maybe like 2 feet taller, maybe even 1.5 feet if you want to pull it back a little bit. But I mean like Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe do like half makeup, half CGI. I think that would have been better.
I mean, and they show that they can make him look bigger, like when
They had an entire
Yeah.
sequence
When
with him
Xavier-
growing and being bigger.
yeah, like when him and Xavier were like doing like the Battle of the Mind thing, which I thought was just kind of lame. Like I think they showed he got bigger and he looked really cool. He didn't lose any, I guess anything by getting bigger. He just looked cooler. I don't know, but.
And he's not purple. We can confirm that.
Yeah, he's not purple. I guess that was just like one of the first set photos they had, and the lighting was bad, which is something they probably
Yeah.
should have checked before they released the picture. But I mean, that's it's whatever.
And
Yeah, you're gonna continue.
yeah.
Okay.
And I agree with Mystique. Honestly, I don't even know why she had to be in the movie. Because this could have easily been turned into like Cyclops' story of like how he was resenting going to the school. He didn't really care about fitting in, and then it could have been his rise to being like the leader of the X-Men. With Mystique, it's just I don't know. It just didn't make sense. But what else was I gonna say? Jubilee was a complete waste. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still liked it. A lot of the fan service I liked. But yeah, just too many characters.
I mean, I wouldn't say that there's too many characters. I just think that they didn't know what to do with I guess the.
Yeah, I can agree with that, I guess.
Because and there was enough room for them all to get like a little bit of shine. Like let's take, and I hate comparing comic book movies, especially ones that come out like super close to like each other. But take Civil War for example. You've got this massive cast of characters, and like in each and every one of them gets at least a small scene for them to shine. At least like a little like 3-minute or like a 5-minute little sequence of them doing something really cool. You're like, wow, man, that was really cool. No character was wasted in that movie. There were multiple characters wasted in this movie. Psylocke, Angel, Storm, freaking Nightcrawler. Although, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Nightcrawler anyway, but I thought he was just poorly done in this movie. But like, yeah, I mean, like, it's, I don't know. It's just I felt like they should have taken a little bit more time to flesh out some things before starting to film. Because I felt like this one actually came out kind of quickly. And maybe that's just me. That's probably just me. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, the movie's fun. It's a fun movie. You know, there's some really cool moments, but I don't know. It's just something about it. It's just like, I just can't get over it.
So was that little girl? Was that Magneto's second, or I guess another child? Is that what we're led to?
Oh, you're
third child.
I actually had a question about that too. Is that like a girl? Is she like from the comics? Because she had. Well, it's evident that she had mutant powers because she was screaming and she had like a bunch of like birds come down and like start chomping on people. So does anybody know who she is?
As far as the movie, like these movies go, that would be his third child, because in Days of Future Past, whenever they first go to get Quicksilver, his mom says something about his sister watching TV or something like that. So we know that Quicksilver has his sister, Scarlet Witch, in this universe. And then, so that would be his third child, and I don't know if she's a thing in the comics or not, but
well, she's dead now, so I mean, you can't. We'll never know.
No, she real dead, cuz.
Yeah.
Ain't no Walking Dead around here. Ain't no Walking
chest.
X-Men Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Oh my god.
What
So
about,
yeah, actually, before we move on to the post-credit scene, because that's one thing I actually want to talk about, because then we can start kind of discussing about what we want to see from the future of the X-Men movies and where we think it could go. But why don't you guys like give it like you guys have like a rating for it? Why don't you give it a rating, Alex? Actually, no, Andrew. We'll start with you. What would you give X-Men Apocalypse?
I'd probably give it like a 7.5 to an 8. I enjoyed it, but
An 8. Wow.
yeah, not as much as Civil War, but more than Batman vs Superman or Deadpool for me. Yeah.
Casey?
I think I might just land on a 6 out of 10. I think if you're an X-Men fan, if you're a fan of the films, go see it. You need to know where the story's going. There's some important things to know, maybe, I guess, technically. But I think you just might enjoy yourself.
You didn't sound that convinced when you said it. You just might.
If you don't want to see that, then go see The Nice Guys or something.
Or
I
Alice
would
in
really
Wonderland.
recommend seeing The Nice Guys.
Don't see that crap. Don't waste your money on that garbage. Alex?
Probably an 8 or 8.5.
I thought you were about to say a 9. I was like, boy, get out! I'm just kidding. I was gonna do that. But yeah, you guys already heard what I said. 6.5. Lots of flaws. I enjoy parts of the movie, but there are just some things that I just can't really get past.
But I just want to say one thing, like, people, like, especially, like, the comic book fan community, film weird community that's going on, like, there's so much whining and crying, like, as if these directors and thousands of people go out of their way to make a bad movie. Nobody tries to make a bad movie. Like, people worked hard on this film, and they tried to make a good movie. And if you love this movie and like it a lot, like, I envy you. I hope you enjoy the crap out of this movie. Like, don't let Rotten Tomatoes tell you what you should like or watch or not watch. Like, just go watch and have fun. Go out with your friends on a weekend and have a nice time.
And I echo that completely. Like, I felt bad that I didn't like the movie. I was like, man, I was like, crap, because I wanted to like the movie, because like I said earlier, about like the trailers, and I just wasn't hyped, and I was just like, I'll go see it. And I was hoping I would walk into the theater and be blown away, and that didn't happen. I felt so like sad. I was like, crap. I was like, I want to like you so much, because I love the previous one. I love Days of Future Past. It's like one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, and like this one just fell, not flat on its face, but it just fell, and I was just like, why? I'm like reaching down at it, like, why did you do this to me? So I'm freaking so disappointed, man. But anyway, let's move on to the post-credit scene, because this is the thing that got me like so freaking amped, dude. Like, I'm so excited. So obviously, spoiler, you're already in spoiler territory, so it's not like you really care anymore. So basically, the post-credit scene features these group of people walking through the Weapon X facility. There's like a bunch of dead bodies around. They're walking, being like super ominous. You don't see the person's face, and they go grab some medical records and a vial of blood belonging to Wolverine. They stick it in a briefcase, close it up, and when you look at the briefcase, it has the words Essex Corp on it. And if you don't know, Nathaniel Essex is freaking Mr. Sinister, and like I love Mr. Sinister so much. I geeked the crap out. I'm so excited. This is the one X-Men villain that I wanted to see. Now, obviously, that doesn't confirm like oh yeah, like he's gonna be in the next one, but it's like the heaviest like nod in the world to him. So yeah, what did you guys think of the X-Men Apocalypse post-credit scene? Casey, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up, because I had absolutely no idea what that meant.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't know. I really did have no idea. I'm trying to read comics, and here's the thing with comics is they keep rebooting all the time, so I just don't know where to start.
Hey man, when you start with Rebirth, it's not a reboot, it's a rebirth.
Exactly. So I hear good things about it, but
so good.
I guess it was a cool credit scene. Now that I know what it's about, I'm guessing it's gonna hit towards Wolverine 3, which is Hugh Jackman's last film is Wolverine.
Tears.
Oh, by the way, that whole weird, intense, I'm gonna assume it was sexualized scene with him looking at young Jean, was that kind of weird for you guys, or just
I did sense a little sexual tension. It was kind of creepy, because she's like a teenager, and she's like 16 years old, and I'm just like, you're like 40. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I see what you're saying.
That was just a strange thing to move, but yeah, that was cool. It'd be funny. It wouldn't make sense, but you know, I'm so in love with Deadpool now. I just want to see him. So like maybe in like another credit scene, like, oh hi, Deadpool again. Yeah, I wasn't in this movie. You missed me, didn't you? My sexy ass. Well, don't worry, I'll be back. Blah 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 blah. So I'm still worried how he's gonna work out in this universe, but I think it's a cool post credit scene, and I'm still looking forward to future X-Men films.
Yeah, after seeing this movie, I'm very curious to see how they could fit Deadpool in here, because this does not seem like the kind of universe that Deadpool would fit in at all. At least in my opinion. You know, it's it's just really dark, and it's just like kind of, I don't know. It's just I don't see the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool fitting into this universe.
Like imagine Apocalypse is like, you follow blind leaders, and Deadpool just looks at the camera. What the fuck's this guy's problem?
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking the third wall.
He's like, I already have a blind leader. Her name is Al. She lives in my apartment. Like, starts talking about some crap. Yeah, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. But I mean, hey, I guess anything could happen. Andrew, what did you think, man?
I thought it was pretty cool. Teasing Mr. Sinister, that's pretty awesome. I don't know. A lot of people were saying that he was teasing X-23 as well. I didn't.
Just about to ask you that.
Yeah. I didn't. I guess I must have missed it, but
it's because
hey, I'll take it.
I actually watched a video, like, because it was explaining the post-credit scene. Because I got the Mr. Sinister one, but then I saw people saying the X-23. And they're saying it's a reference because part of Wolverine's like DNA is used to make the clone for X-23, and so that's how that happens. So
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But okay, so if that's the case, and Wolverine 3 takes place in the future, and there's rumors that X-23 is going to be in that movie, then like, are they going to wait? I don't know. I'm very confused. The whole X-Men timeline.
Do we know it's set in the future? do we know that the next X-Men movie or Wolverine movie is set in the future? Or is that just a rumor?
Yeah, they announced that.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, the X-Men timeline is just a cluster, just
yeah.
mind.
I'd rather her be with like the main X-Men team, just the future.
I don't know, but Alex, what did you think of the Mr. Sinister post-credit scene?
I really liked it. I'm really excited for it. He's the one X-Men villain that I wanted to see. Like, I want to see him on the screen, so that'll be really cool. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot there, so I'm very interested to see where they go.
Do you guys think that he's gonna end up being the next villain for X-Men, whatever number that takes place in 1980? Do you guys think that that's a possibility?
Maybe.
Or do you think this or do you think this is just a nod for Wolverine 3, which I could see that.
I don't think they would
have
had. I don't know. I feel like it's like they had his name across like movie theaters across the country. Like, there's got to be a reason. They want to just do that. I hope.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the future of the X-Men franchise. Of course, I wouldn't say this was a step in the bad direction. It was just, I don't know.
It was just a step.
Yeah, it was a step. It was a small step. There were redeeming qualities about the movie, but then there were also things that kind of just take you back and said, like, you could have done it better, or you shouldn't have done that in the first place.
One thing I'll say that I want from I wish that we could get from the movies going forward is, like, multiple main X-Men movies, I guess. Like, how they have the different, like, Uncanny X-Men and the different X-Men titles in the comics.
Sweet.
That would be a really good way for them to handle all of the characters that they have to handle while still giving everyone, like, I don't know. That would be really cool, but I don't know if they'll actually do that.
One thing that I hope sticks around is the young cast. As underused as some of them were, they all did a great job with what they were given. So I hope none of them get like recast. Ty Sheridan, please stay on as Cyclops. I absolutely loved his portrayal of Cyclops. Psylocke, I mean, I know Olivia Munn wants to be in like an X-Force movie, and I could see that happening, honestly. But I mean, like, it's not one of those characters that like must be in here. Like, oh my God, Psylocke. This is not for me. So yeah. Do you guys have anything else to add before we get out of here?
Jennifer Lawrence, please leave the franchise. Thank you.
Agreed.
Oh, speaking of Jennifer Lawrence, did you guys hear what she said about, like, apparently her, Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, like, made like some pact that, like, if one of them leaves, they all leave or something like that?
Oh, I will be so angry.
Oh,
I highly doubt that, because if somebody offers me, I'm saying I don't think. I feel like that's just like one of her ploys trying to get them to like give her more money. I don't know. Like I said, she needs to go. Please. Jennifer Lawrence, if you're listening to this, you're a pretty lady, but you need to go. Please, for all of us sakes. So yeah, I guess that is it for us today. I want to thank my co-host for joining us on this wonderful journey of X-Men-ness. Casey, where can people find you at on the internet?
You can find me at CaseyJCrow on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat.
He also runs.
Actually, don't have me Snapchat, you little pervs. I don't want your.
Oh, so you just threw that out there, just Snapchat. Everyone add Casey quick.
Yeah, and also you can follow my fan page, The Dark Knight Trilogy, on Instagram.
He posts super HD photos of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Trilogy. It's pretty sweet. Andrew, what about you, man? Where do people find you at?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at AndrewWriter. Just come talk about comics, ask questions, say Aquaman's the best.
Andrew's gonna fight Johnny Depp. Alex, what about you, man?
Oh, gee.
You can find me at APBatman with 2 T's on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice. And you can find me on Twitter at Dark Knight of Ren, 1K for the Dark and the Night. I also run the DC page. I run a DC page on Instagram at DCEU News. Also, if you like shirts, we have a t-shirt store. So if you want to go like look at some apparel made by some super awesome dudes, check it out. Be in the description box below. And as always, keep it locked at comicdrops.com for the latest news and superhero media. And we will talk to you soon. Later, guys. Peace.